I'll respond to them. But all right, so then, so you've got a good understanding of what it looks like internally. You have an idea initially of what we're going to do in the call center, 3-day call board, right? We're going to put the percentages on it. Has that been done yet?
Yeah, no, it has not. Our tech guy just left for vacation,
Okay.
but we have the ability to calculate it. I mean,
Okay.
we do have on the board, we do have the number of calls,
Yeah.
and we do have the number of turnovers that we have for that day.
Okay.
It's just the percentage not there, but we can calculate it.
Okay, so when we definitely need to add that. I know he's going on vacation, but so once we add that, let's make sure that if it's less than 33%, it needs to turn red if it's the digital board. You know, something that it stands out, because you want to call BS on that if it's not there. You heard me saying that,
Okay,
you heard me saying that first call, that is the most important number to manage, that percentage to beat the weather. You know, because you're gonna realize when you get this whole model running, this is gonna become a weathered enhanced business versus weather driven. So
okay,
so you're gonna see that when we learn to manage that at 33% in the spring and fall, that's where you're gonna get your biggest pickup. Because right now, companies struggle in the spring and fall. They might lose money. Well, when you learn to manage that, you'll not only not lose money in spring and fall, you're going to make money. And then you'll actually,
right,
you'll, once you run this model for 6 months, a year, or whatever, you'll then learn that you can proactively change that number. And, you know, once you get it near 50%, you're going to blow the damn thing out of water. And that's where you'll have, so I've got a video, and if Jody wants it, I'll send it to y'all. But she don't need to go over it with you now. And maybe sometime around February, or when is y'all's worst month in the spring?
well,
February.
February.
Um,
Okay, so if it is
yeah.
yeah,
February, then Jody needs to do a call sometime in January with you and go over this video with you. I'll send you the whole contest file, everything, how the contest rolls out. I've put it together. Since I do this call every spring and fall, I've got a whole package with a video. What's a whole package? It's got the video tutorials in it. And that will show you how not only will you blow February out of the water, let's go for a record February. I say record, let's go for a record month, regardless of when it is. Um, and all right, so then let's think about this. So y'all have gone over the flow chart. The flow chart then references the detail sheet, which actually has, again, examples of what the emails look like. And so I'm assuming y'all have looked at that as well.
right.
As far as tracking the turnovers now, the turnover tracker, have we implemented that yet? That's the sheet that, you're going to put your guys' data in there, and you're going to track it on opportunities. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that yet.
We've had a chance to look at it. We haven't implemented it yet. No.
Okay. So then you'll just want to, set a date, whether it's, for me, it's can't be quick enough, but if you just set a date, whether it's Friday or whatever, and so we're going to implement this now. And then,
Okay.
so when you do your huddles, your daily huddle, you're going to be going around, well, how many calls do we got? How many opportunities we have? And so, and Dick, are you the one that run the huddles?
Yes.
Okay, so in this huddle, let's just say that you have 45 calls on the board, and they tell you they got 10 opportunities. That's where I want you to say, that's not right. Let's go audit these. And even if you got to audit them, like I had one of Jim's members I'm working with, and they said, well, Scott, we've audited them. That's correct. I said, well, cool. Let's do this together. So I gave them control of my screen, meaning control of the meeting, and they pulled up where I could see their screen. We went through and we found 4 more opportunities that they said they didn't have, which then put them at 36%. So you want to, if you're less than 33, you want to say, look, have you audited them? Let's find them. And then if we don't find them, then the call center manager has to realize, okay, if they're not there, they still have to proactively get them. It is unacceptable to have less than 33. It's so
Okay.
I really want you to focus. That is the magic number to making your business blow up. Jody entered in she entered in y'all's numbers in a sheet I got, and it tells us the opportunity. and it was ridiculous how much sales you could have there. I mean, it's truly amazing. I'm very excited for you. All right, so you want that turnover tracker in place, and then as the flow chart talks about, every morning the dispatcher and the service manager meet, and it looks like this. You say, well, so if Jody's the dispatcher, is she going to say, I'm going to say, Jody, how many opportunities we got today? We got 16 or whatever that number is. We're going to then look at this dispatch page of that and go, we'll give 4 of them to Timmy, 4 to this guy, 4 to this guy, 4 to this guy, 4 to this guy. Now, you don't do that initially, because you're going to see in tomorrow's call what I'm going to go over with the text is we want to give them 1 month of letting everybody try this. Because right now, I know y'all are saying everybody turns over. Well, I'm going to tell you, you'll never get consistent results when everybody turns over. Because what happens is, again, you're asking them to play different games, and it gets very inconsistent. It's almost asking them to play hockey to football, to hockey to football, and sometimes they forget to change their pads, and it's going to be, imagine playing football with ice skates on. It ain't going to work. So we want to teach these guys to do it. We monitor them for a month, and then we say, look, these guys have figured it out. These are going to be our guys. And then you can actually show the other guys how to generate revenue and other things. But we want to find out who our turnover guys are. It's no different. Now I do so many calls, so I might repeat myself, but it's no different if we have Mary Jean, myself, and Jody, and we're all given 1 game of bowling away, or we're all given 3 games of bowling. We could all bowl 1 game a day, and we will get better. You're right. But if I gave all 3 games to Mary Jean every single day, she's going to become a professional bowler very rapidly, because that's all she's focused on. So once you got the turnover tracker in place, track it for a month, and then start making decisions. What you're going to find out is you'll probably want to make decisions within 5 days, because you're going to be like, holy crap, we're just giving away money. But try to refrain from it. Let's let every guy have his opportunity. I mean, unless a guy runs 10 and he don't get any, go ahead and make the decision. Yeah, he's not the guy. That's okay. Okay. So now the turnover tracker being in place. Have you had a chance to look at the Comfort Advisor sales plan?
Yes.
All right, and there's a bunch of videos in there. Well, let me tell you something. When this thing is up and running, this is by far the strongest tool for the sales lead coordinator. It becomes now a predictor of your business. It's not, let me tell you, it's not a tracking tool. It's not to track your salespeople. It's the same thing. It decides on who to send. And it's similar to the turnover tracker. What happens when you put this in place, it's doing more math behind the scenes than I can even imagine. So it does all this, and then it tells you who to send. I want you to tell you, just believe in it. And I know you're going to say, well, how? Just believe in it. I got more knowledge in this frickin' sheet than you'll ever imagine. It does. To give you an example, Josh with Uptown, with Hero, wasted several months of his life, probably 8 months, where he wouldn't believe this sheet. And so to tell you what happened, we were doing a call, Dick, and so I said, Josh, I want you to understand there's a staffing piece to this. It tells you need 4 more comfort advisors than you currently have. He said, Scott, that thing's just nuts. Why is it saying that? I said, because you do, if you're going to run the leads, it tells you that's going to be there. And I said, let me tell you, he said, well, I don't have the leads for that many people. And I said, well, Josh, how many children do you got? And I said, let me walk you through a story, and I'll tell you the story as fast as I can. Well, Dick, imagine if you had 2 children, and at night you sit down and you eat. Well, if your plates, let's say at the end of the night, your plates were full, right? Your children were full and you had food left over on the plates. Would you get up from that meal and go look for more food?
No.
No, because your children are full. But guess what happens if you had 2 more children added to the table, and let's say they ate and their plates were empty, and they were out of food and they were still hungry. Would you go look for more food now?
Yes.
I'm telling you, you got a hell of a lot of food in your business, and you will never find it until you staff to look for it. That's just the easiest as I can explain it. So when this thing tells you you're going to need X amount of comfort advisors, it's on as soon as you enter your true calls in on page 1 and you set it up, it's going to tell you what you need on comfort advisors on the first tab, right? Then
Okay.
you don't have to be there tomorrow, but you want to build a plan that's going to get you to there, whether it's 3 months, 4 months, whatever. Because if not, you're never going to hit your potential. And then the other thing is, if you don't staff correctly, you won't be able to sell what you need for this reason. Let's say you're a comfort advisor and you are struggling in the field. If I'm not staffed correctly, I now got to let you keep struggling, and I'm going to be held captive to whatever you got going on in your head. But if I'm staffed correctly, guess what's going to happen? I can now pull you in and say, hey, Dick, what's going on? And I can break you down, figure out what's going on, and I can take you out of the field for 2 or 3 days. And then you'll be like, well, that's something life changing for me to pull you out of the field for 2 days and train with you. So next thing you know, you'll actually start to change your behaviors. But if I can't take you out of the field, that won't happen. So that tool itself is the most important piece when you're up and running. And that's why you hear me say the sales lead coordinator is the second most important position in the business, because that is her Bible on how she runs her business. Okay?
I
All
have
right.
a
Okay.
question. Could I
Yes.
jump in and ask you a question
Yeah,
or
go ahead. Go
comment?
ahead, Mary Jane.
I think my concern right now is we I, I keep thinking about this as you're talking because it is a really good opportunity. We need to set a timeline because we do. I get that we could call Tyler. I'm sure he's on. He is. He's flying out today, but Tyler would do the spreadsheet for it. He would get it done for us, the IT guy. But are we talking about having this going? It sounds to me like we should already be moving on it. In my mind, it was like, okay, we're going to train until January 1st, and we're going to do this until January 1st. And I'm
Yeah.
going back and forth in my head saying, well, when's the best time to plant a tree? You know, should we be doing this now or should we?
No, yeah. To answer your question, I would not do the sheet now, the Comfort Advisor sales plan. I'm just saying that once you get your tracking on your technicians in order, right? You'll want to then start to use that within a month. Let's say at the end of, somewhere in mid-January, end of January, you're using that. Sometime in your near future, probably within the next quarter, you're going to have to put on a sales lead coordinator and somebody to coordinate this, and then that's her Bible to run it. And then at that point, you're going to start to see you got way more leads than you need. And y'all are going to have to make a decision. We have to hire people. I'm just saying, don't do what Josh did and let it ride out 6, 7, 9 months. Because I had a conversation with Josh. I said, Josh, he said, I don't need more people. I said, Josh, why did this guy run 28 turnover opportunities and he turned over 1? He said, well, what do you mean? He just didn't do I'm sorry. He ran 28 turnovers and he sold 1 as a comfort advisor. He goes, what do you mean? He just didn't close. And no. Why in the hell did you send him 28? He said, well, I couldn't take him out of the field. I said, oh, it's a staffing problem. So it was that conversation Josh realized. He said, I'm going to pay attention to this. Right. And so just to let y'all know, his largest month installed was 700 something grand. The minute he staffed correctly, he sent Jack Tester an email. They did 1.4 million in install, doubled it. And it ain't like they ran more service calls. They just maximized it. So yeah, I would not do it that quick, but in the first quarter, I would probably have a sales lead coordinator and start using the sheet.
Well, my thought was, and everybody listening on our team knows that I always push to get things done now. Sometimes they don't get done as thoroughly as they should because I want it now. And all am hearing in my mind is we have to have this 100% in place by February 1st. We'll get through January, but our December looks horrific. And we are going to lose a lot of money this month. And so I really want to move on it right away. I want it fully running by February 1st.
Yeah.
Am I putting too much pressure on my team?
It could be on the sales lead coordination piece, because because you're not going to change anything with your comfort advisors. The tech piece has to happen pretty much damn immediately. The tech tracker pretty much immediately. Let's run with that a month. You'll see your sales are going to go way up. You're now going to see you're understaffed. And so after about 30 to 45 days of this, you need to put a sales lead coordinator in and staff correctly on the sales department. And then you see you're going to be understaffed on your installers. This is why we're redoing the install and sales management class. You should only install helpers that have the ability to be a lead within a year, or smart companies will 80% of their installers, like if you got 10 crews, 8 crews will be a lead with the lead. And if you put a lead with the lead and you do 20% of your crews a lead with the helper, you can double your business at any time.
Okay.
If that
So,
makes sense.
yeah. And so I'm super excited about this. And guys, on our team, I think this is really good news because we're coming into February and March, which are by far the 2 slowest months of our year. They're number 11 and 12. Well, 12 and 11, because February is number 12 and March is number 11 of lowest revenues, lowest calls. So I'm super excited about getting this going. But I did want to add one thing so you know. Our plumbing department has had some issues, plumbing service, and that's the one I'm really worried about, even more so. So, I mean, I'm worried about both, don't get me wrong, but we have to set up the same thing right away for plumbing.
Okay, so the plumbing model, if Jody wants to, because she's your coach, and we can maybe go through the plumbing model, but I'm going to tell you, the plumbing model is a lot more complex than the HVAC. You can literally double your plumbing business. You know, the shops I've rolled it out in, you know, have went from average ticket. Well, I tell you this, look at Master Plumbers. Their average dispatch is $1,250 every time they send a plumber in the home. That's not even with the close rate. That's every time they dispatch somebody, $1,250. So that can be, you know, I think their average tickets, you know, closed ticket is around $1,800. But so I would not do them too quickly. I know, Mary Jean, you want to. I would run with the HVAC 6 months or so, and probably no less than 6 months. I would not, because it's both of them are world changing. I don't know if you need to do it that quick.
I would agree with that. I really want you guys to get this nailed so that when you do introduce plumbing, that it's going to be easier to nail it because there's a lot of similar processes.
Yeah. So when I go to a shop,
and Scott's going to tell you, you got to check in with these people every hour. You got to make sure that these things are happening. I mean, it's going to require a lot of accountability activity, you know, on your part.
Yeah. So and Dick, you're the GM, right?
That's correct.
So you're a poker. When I say a poker, you're literally going around. And I tell you like this, the best GM only asks a question that he knows the answer to. This way you'll never get BS'd. And if you do, you call them out. And then when they know you know the answer, they'll always be honest with you. And so like if I'm checking in on somebody, and let's say the sales lead coordinator's there, and I go to the sales manager who she should report to, right? Or he or she should report to. Let's say I go to the sales manager and I say, hey, is Mary Jean, is she doing her expectation calls? Oh yeah, she's doing them. Well, believe it or not, I already had a conversation with Mary Jean and found out she didn't when I asked him this. So that way you can say, hey, look, no, she's not. So when you do these check-ins, you're walking around just poking people. Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Right? And obviously, it's best if you only do it to your direct report so you don't create confusion, right? But when I go to a shop, we roll this out. I recommend they don't do the plumbing for 12 months just because, I mean, this is going to be a game changer. And what I don't want is you to lose focus on this. So like if I'm the owner and Dick's the GM, I say, well, what's going on here? Well, how can I do that? I'm working on this plumbing one. So I prefer, I mean, like if you did an extra 300 grand in sales a month, you wouldn't care as much about the plumbing. I don't mean that wrong, but.
No, I would. The problem we're having is with profitability on the heating and air side. And we are working on that, but we're nowhere near as profitable historically, not even close, as we are on the plumbing side. We're one company, but anyway, it's a long story.
No,
so, and you did make some recent changes in terms of management on the plumbing side.
We just lost 1.2 million in revenue for next year on the plumbing side due to some staffing changes.
Okay.
Nobody in our team's fault, but so I've lost 1.2 million in revenue for next year on plumbing, and heating and air is hardly profitable. Very low profit.
All right. Well, let's look at.
But I guess that's a conversation for. Okay. I mean, I could just see us building up the heating and air side by another $4 million next year by doing this, and then it's like, great, we did all this liability, and we didn't make any money.
Okay, well here's the way I want you to look at the heating and air, right? Because we're
Okay.
already getting knee deep into this. So Jody,
Okay.
you filled her numbers out on the sheet. I don't know if you gave those to her or not, but do you remember how much we could increase in revenue? Do you remember what that
I
number?
don't recall. That was quite a while ago, and I didn't have all of the information I put in what we had.
Okay, let's just say it is $4 million. Okay, so if you increase $4 million, the only thing you're going to add in overhead, right? You're going to add sales lead coordinator, and you might add some trucks, you might add some fuel, and even if you add installers and salespeople, those aren't overhead; they're a direct cost. So, what is your margin right now, Dick, in HVAC install? What's your gross margin?
It's 35.5.
Okay, so we got some work to do there, but so let's say if nothing changes and you're 35.5% margin. Well, listen to this. This will make you happy. The majority of that will go straight to the bottom just because you're not having to increase your overhead. I'm not asking you to run more calls. We're just going to do more revenue on the calls. So if you do $4 million, you take 35% of that minus your trucks, minus the fuel, right? Minus the insurance on the trucks, maybe a little few uniforms. That's it. Everything else will go straight to the bottom. So I just want you to believe in that, because I'm not asking you to increase any overhead. Matter of fact, you're going to start probably spending less in marketing when you figure out how we do this. So this is how I got shops doing high double digits, and I'm talking about 20% net profit. It's because you start throwing that big a margin to the bottom, it increases whatever you had. Okay. Let's just press forward. Y'all got to obviously.
So let's move on to heating and air. Sorry, I didn't mean to go down that road.
No, you're good.
Thank you.
So obviously y'all got to get together and decide when you're going to roll out, what you're going to roll out. But Mary Jean wants it today. I'm that type of person too. But I'm thinking within 45 days you got a sales lead coordinator. You're now looking at going, holy crap, we got to staff this thing differently. Okay. So let's.
I do have a question.
Yes.
What is it that Tyler needs to do, Mary Jean?
The only thing that go ahead. You asked Mary Jean, but the only thing he needs to do is we've got the KPI board that we have set up. What I wanted to do is just go to the new one that we got from Scott on doing the maximum capacity and change up how we do that huddle.
Oh, for your board. Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to explain that to everybody before I just made that switch.
Yeah.
And make sure that they know what we're trying to do and where we're going. I just didn't want to have him all of a sudden switch that board. Okay.
Hey, yeah. Dick, I have a question for you. So you're at 35.
I mean, if it's a matter of changing a file, I can certainly help you with that, and maybe Kyle could get it up and running.
Yeah, well, we have Tron too, and I can talk to Tron today, and we can see if we can get
Let's try and remove the obstacle.
Okay. And
let me just talk to Tron and see how quick we can make that happen.
Awesome.
All right, and I got a quick question about your gross margin, Dick, on HVAC or an install. So do you know what your material percentage is?
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me pull up all our stuff we just did here. We're with materials and parts, we're running right at, hang on a second. There's a 5-year plan.
While he's looking those specific numbers up for you,
Go ahead.
Okay, HVAC install materials and equipment are running at about right at 31.7% year to date.
Okay, so both of those, your equipment and materials, 31?
Yes.
All right, so that tells me some good news is, it's obviously you're not giving away the equipment, you're not selling too high SEER at the low cost. So that must mean your labor's through the roof, is that right?
Our labor's 15.1.
Okay, so labor's higher than what I want. But even with those, then why is our margin 35? Are we using large buy downs? Are we giving away 5 years same as cash or something? What's going on there?
There's 8% in HERS testing and other directs.
Right. Yeah, our other directs is 7.8%. And so 2.1 of that is permits, 2.1 of that's buy downs, 2.2 of that is HERS rating.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that's the biggest,
Okay.
those are the biggest ones.
So one good thing then you're going to see instantly is when you increase your volume, you're going to see your labor decrease drastically as a percentage of sale, because I say that, are your guys installers hourly?
No, they're piecework.
Okay, then do we pay 15%?
No, well, part of what's in that labor of 15% also is we have 2 warranty techs. We
Yeah.
also have drywallers. We also have what? Oh, well, no, some electrical is in there.
Okay. What are the guys paid on their piece pay? How much is it?
40 is the full system.
Yeah. Well, it's been
is it by the
running.
unit? Is it by each piece, or is it actually a percentage?
No, it's by each piece.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I was trying to see how we could capitalize when you do more sales. Like if they're hourly, what the cool thing about that is they get, they're going to get their money regardless of what you get them to put in. Meaning that when you increase your volume, they won't make much more money because, but regardless, then what you can do instantly, and I want you to take, and this conversation's for Dick, obviously everybody, but I'm saying this to Dick. What I want you to understand is when you control your lead source, meaning that you are the first one in the door, you control the value 100%. So let's just say if you had 100 people that bought from you. So let's say you went to 200 and 100 bought from you. Of those 100 that bought, I'm just going to make up some numbers and say, let's say half of them you were first in the door, half of them had quotes. So those first in the door, you could raise your book price $1,000 of every unit. You will see the difference on those first in the doors, meaning you will still close at a lot higher dollar amount. The ones that you had to negotiate that you were second in the door, you're not going to pick up any of that money, but you'll pick up a huge piece of it on the ones you're first in the door. The great thing about a turnover is you are first in the door. So what I'm saying to you is you could raise every unit price $1,000 and you will not see a difference in your closure rate on any of those first in the doors. And you will recognize that revenue. To give an example, you look at Waldrop. I went to Waldrop. They lost 176 grand the first 3 months of 2016. We rolled this out. They made 289,000 in April, 381 in May. They're in the double digits, 20. We raised our average ticket from $6,900 to $10,500. So, and I know we got to roll the process out. I'm just telling you, because I'm not going to talk to you ever again when we're done here. Don't be scared of raising your book, because these are leads that you are generating. You control the value. Mary Jean just said with her conviction in her voice, we need to recognize some of this revenue. We need to fix this, meaning we need to make more money. And you're going to see when you control that lead from day one, there's no such thing as a high price because we control that value. All right, so I'm gonna get back to it because we still got to get through the rest of the call center piece. We got about 30 minutes. Let me look at my notes here and see what I've gone over. So in the detail sheet, there was the 3 areas the CSR miss. We're not going to spend much time on them. I just want you to look at them again. One of them is, remember, the customer doesn't know, and that's okay. We just take that for, we just say, okay, we don't know. I'm telling you that's not acceptable. The other area is, it's not they don't know. They tell you it's 5 years old. So you want to make sure you roll those 2 follow-up questions out on every single call, say maybe less than 8 years old. And as Jody mentioned, that's an hourly process until it's trained. If I'm a CSR manager and let's say you booked a call, I'm going to say, hey, Dick, what kind of call was that? All right, Did you get the age? And I'm going to start debriefing you right after you book the call until you are comfortable making sure you know those questions. Another area the CSR miss is they call in and go, hey, y'all just put a system in out here. It ain't working. And they book the call and say, all right, we just put a system in. Well, what happens if they had 3 systems? So when you're less than that 33%, I'm telling you, you got a house that has, it might have had 3 systems on the house. 2 of them are 20 years old. And just because you replace one, you now book that as, you didn't even ask about the other 2. So in that sheet, it explains you got to find out, do they have multiple systems? If customers don't know, is y'all's area, I don't believe it is, but you can answer this for me. Is your area big for zone systems? I don't think it is.
No.
Okay. So then if a customer doesn't know, just say, that's fine. How many thermostats do you have? And if they go, well, I got 3 thermostats. Okay. Are the other, then that pretty much means you have 3 systems, because I don't think y'all are a large zone area. Unlike, if I go to New Jersey, their freaking whole town, that whole state's zones. So then at that point you say, okay, you have 3 systems. And are the other 2 the same? When we replace one, do we replace all? Oh no, those other 2 are same age as the house. There you go. And now you were going to send that to a brand new tech to run this warranty. Now you got an opportunity for 2 more. So that's another area the CSRs miss. And then the last area, and so in your area, how many houses, and there's no right or wrong answer, but in your area, how many houses have more than one system? More than one heating and air system.
Probably 20%, I would guess.
Okay, so if you don't have a question in there, you're going to miss all those 20% opportunities. So when I say that, they book a call, and if they say this, I hear it all the time. They go, yeah, I'm calling y'all, my upstairs unit's not working. If they said upstairs, guess what? There's a downstairs. So you got to make sure you get ages of everything in the house on that phone, and it takes a while to get this down. So in that detail sheet, it gives you those 3 areas. I want CSR manager focusing on that. Let's train on that, whether it's 2 times a week, something. We got to really work on that. Okay. Now the next thing is, in the event we are off the 33%, once we audit it, we know we've asked the right questions and we're off. I'm telling you, okay, who cares? We're off. Meaning we audited it, we're off. I'm telling you, you cannot be off. It'd be like you coming to work with no shoes on. Just because you outgrew those shoes, pick another pair up. So you cannot be less than 33%. Now, don't get me wrong, it's okay to be 31. It's not okay to be 15. The reason you suffer in the spring and fall is because we book our outbounds incorrectly. We start booking on units we put in, brand new. We start booking plan members. And guess what? Instead of it being the average of your area being 34%, and I want you to, just to keep it simple, we're going to say 33. Just, one of 3, just think of it that way. So instead of, us being at 33 in the spring and fall where we naturally would fall if we just let people call us, we actually do a poor job of outbounding. We call the wrong people first. We call the new ones first. Then we call plan members next. And that automatically takes that number from 33 down to 10 to 15 at the best. And so that's why our sales suffer so much. And then here's the sad part. Then our comfort advisors think our sales suck just because of, urgency. Well, it's not a good time to buy and all this crap. We have to, who's the sales manager?
Patrick.
Patrick, is he on the call?
Yes, he is.
All right, so Patrick, think of this. You hear it every day in the spring and fall. Like in your February, we owe it to Mary Jean to have a record month, okay? And so you hear this all the time. You hear, as a sales manager, you hear, oh, Scott, there's no urgency. It's not broken. You heard me say that 85% of the units I replaced at my shops, they weren't broken. And so let's jump out of this heat in the world business real quick. Jody, I'll ask you a question. When is it the best time to buy a coat, like a COAT? Is it in the middle of summer or middle of winter?
In the middle of summer.
So you know that as a consumer, when you buy something, it's best you buy it when it's not in peak season. Our customers know that. We're the stupid people. I mean, we're the comfort advisors that go, oh, I can't sell it because it's not seasoned. You dumb butt. And I'm trying to keep from cussing because I cuss a lot. I don't mean it wrong. But the best time to buy is now, right? The best time to buy is out of season because that's when you're going to get the lowest price. And we have to train our comfort advisors to understand that, why wouldn't they buy now? And so when you teach these guys, and I'm going to touch on it a little bit tomorrow on the way the text sets it up, because, the best time to buy a boat, right, is the middle of winter. But yet we comfort advisors think we can't sell in frickin' February. In reality, that's when the customer is at their most neutral. I mean, they know they're not forced to make a decision. Therefore, believe it or not, they'll actually shop less. When in the middle of summer, they might, even though there's more urgency, they actually feel have you ever had it when you drive to a neighborhood and they go, oh, I think he's charging more because I live here, because this is a fancy neighborhood, right? Well, that's what the consumer feels in the middle of summer. They're like, I'm thinking he's charging this because guess what? It's hot and I'm over a barrel. In reality, they don't feel that way in the spring and fall, and this is how you're going to be able to get huge upsides there. And then when you do this, and you now track the opportunity percentage and you audit, you're now going to see your percentage is going to go up to 49%, probably in the middle of summer. And that's why your sales are going to go up more in the summer, because now you've done a better job of identifying these. So let me give you the order of calling. The reason I went over all this is because, again, y'all are no different from any shop I've ever talked to. Do you do that? Do you call your new installs and you call your plan members first in the spring and fall? Is that what you do?
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Plan members first.
So this makes
We
sense.
call them all year long, really.
Well, I know it, but I'm just saying in the spring and fall, when we need the calls, we call every new install, and a lot of shops call the new installs to try to beat any startup issues that we have, right? And then they also call plan members, and so we get a mixture, but you're going to see when you track that, if you don't have a plan in February, you're automatically going to go from 33 to damn 15%. So I'm going to tell you the people you call first. You heard me talking about the cherry picking, right? You got to implement. Right. You got to have a meeting with your techs, your plumbers, and your AC, as we talked about in that last call. And you need to roll that out as fast as you've rolled anything out. And you need to learn that is an hourly to a 2 hour to a 4 hourly piece to hold accountable. When that grows, so between now and now and February, let's just say you got 35 days or whatever it is. You're now, how many plumbers do you have again?
22.
Okay, so if you do that correctly, you're going to grow about 22 opportunities a day in that book if you mastered it, right? And meaning that they're now going to identify 22 new units that need to be replaced every single day. So by the time February gets here, you've got 600 new units ready in this book if you master it. Let's just say you don't master it. Let's say you got 300. That's the ones I want you to call first. I'm going to give you the script and show you how to book those at a ridiculous rate. I'm not going to go over it on the call, because quite frankly, I don't know if I got time or not, but I got two scripts. One is I ran the plumbing call this week and I need it this week. That's my first cherry pick script. I got another one I'm going to send you. It's called an alternate cherry pick script. That's maybe you ran it months ago. So I would use the alternate cherry pick script on these when I call them. Okay. So I want you to call those first. Now, what software do you use? Dispatch software.
Successware.
Okay, beautiful. So in Successware, do you have a tag, or do you have them to where you can pull a report? The cool thing about Successware, like I normally have to explain what I call a 6-month report. Successware is automatically built in. I can tell you what to click and teach you how to do it. But my question is, do you have a tag on every 10-year-old unit that you can pull a report on right now?
No, not on everyone.
Well,
intermittent.
Okay, so here's what you want to do in Successware. You go to the reports, right? And there's a report, and I don't remember the name of it, but it says this. You click a box, and it says, I want to know every call I ran within this period that I haven't ran within this period, and you put date ranges in there. Are you familiar with that report?
Yeah, in the call tab, like
Yes.
reports and then call.
Yes, in the call center piece. So what I want you to do, and I tell you what, I'm just going to pull it up on my screen and let you see, because normally I have to walk through this with people that don't have Successware. So I'm going to show you what this report does. I've got believe it or not, I got a silly Excel sheet called 6-month report. Here it is. All right, let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see it.
Okay, so what this report does is, like if today, like this says current month, let me go and enter our current month here. Let's say we're in February is when we're doing this. So February, oh, I think I got to enter in 2/1. Okay, so what this thing does is I want you to pick this period. It says I want every customer that you ran a call in this period, and then it says that you have not been to. Then I want you to pick the next 6 months. So basically, you're pulling everybody you ran a call in 2018 March through August that you've not been through September through February. And then when it's going to spit out these names, so it's going to take everybody and spit them out. Then I want you to remove your service partner plan members out of that list. And then I want you to remove everything except 10-year-old units. So what this is going to do, now this is going to give you every customer in your database that you've been to that has a 10-year-old system that you've marked it, that is not a plan member, that you've not been to in the last 6 months. This is a hot list. They're going to get their tune-up from somebody else. They're going to buy their unit from somebody else. So I do my cherry pick list first. I do this next. Now, Dick, when y'all get really good at getting your plumbers to get the information and you mark it in Successware, this list grows drastically. So this is the next place I start calling from when my 33% is gone, right?
Okay.
And when I do this list, I actually will print it off and I actually put it in months, because you might have 300, 500, 600. I'll put March, January, and then you give the CSRs. So Patrick, you give, or whoever the CSR manager was, I can't remember, you now give the CSR small enough bites, meaning you might give them a list of 50. And so you give out all of March's, you give out all of April's, once they're done with it. And so the next thing is when they're booking this, you got to have the good scripts. I'm going to give you those. Well, the next piece is, well, how do you hold these people accountable? And this is where most shops fail drastically, is they go, well, we're calling, we do, like, let's say that, all right, who's the call center manager again?
Mark.
Mark, and is Mark in the room?
Yes, he is.
All right, so Mark, I hear this all the time, and I know you hear it too. Let's say you're doing outbounds, and we need calls for tomorrow, and I say, well, all right, Mark, what's it look like? We need 30 calls. I'm just making the numbers up, and we've only got 20. How good do you feel about, filling the 10? I see this all the time, that a CSR manager go, well, I don't feel good, and I say, all right, well, how are you going to get them? And they're basically say they don't know. And they'll say, and they'll tell me, well, I'm calling. And then here's what a sentence I hear all the time from CSRs and CSR managers. I hear this all the time. They go, well, we're doing all we can do. We're making calls. Well, I'm going to tell you, Mark, all that's opinion. All we can do is an opinion, right? So what you have to do is I'm going to send you a file, because I don't have time to go on this phone. And I want you to watch it with Dick over and over and over. Okay? And then you're going to use this file to hold your people accountable. There's a tutorial in there. Now, what I am going to tell you is never let one CSR watch that tutorial, because I teach you in this tutorial how you get through the CSR's BS, right? And it's not a CSR facing video. So I'm going to trust that they're never going to watch it. You got to see it, because you have to become a master at it. And all it does is basically, you heard me start off our first call with you saying the CSR is an hourly, or the call center is an hourly business. So I'm going to teach you how to, in this video, it teaches you how to monitor this business every hour on the hour. And what does that look like? And I give you the tools, the actual Excel sheet that teaches, well, that shows you how to do this. And you will now, not only will your calls go up, but you'll have a way to judge people if they're doing a good job versus we're doing all we can do. And so we got about 13 minutes. I'm gonna send you all that. Just watch the video. I'm gonna send Jody. Everybody on the call will get it, or everybody. I'm gonna send it to everybody that that wants it. But again, it is a this was written for a CSR manager. It is not a CSR video because it can make them cry. You don't, because I'm just talking how they're going to lie to you when you start tracking these things. They're humans. They're going to be like, oh, I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm going to lie. And they'll start to come out. And I say things like that in it. So please don't let your CSRs watch it. So, and once you get that piece in place, that sums it up. The call center is just a daily beast, and I will tell you this, I have a saying called 3 days is a trend. It's okay to miss your number one day. It's okay to miss it too. You can never miss it 3. If you miss it 3, that becomes the norm. And before you know it, it sets a trend and it only goes downhill from there. So I'm going to open at this point for the last, just say 10 minutes of conversation, whatever y'all want to ask while we have time with each other. Because at this point, I'm done with the call center piece. I'm going to send you what I got. And then Mary Jean, Dick, and Jody, y'all got to keep working at it and plug it along. So what questions does anybody have?
Okay, let's see here. Yes, we're 10 years. Mark has already started with the questions as far as getting the age in the call center. And that is something that he started the day of, right after we started. He went down and started to set that up with his people. Are you having any challenges with that at all?
No, I've got to get better about asking everybody every hour. But the people I've heard using it, they say it helps. But some of them are like, well, they've only lived there 3 months. I'm like, okay. So, then we go to the question about, well, how old's the house? So we can kind of gauge that also.
Okay, and that's what you got to do. I'd rather you guess and get close than not have anything. So that way I know you're going through the process. So Mark, then for you got to make sure we get that percentage on that board, because right now if I said, are you doing a good job? You're going to tell me yes or no, and regardless, both are opinions, versus I could look at that board and tell you if you're doing a good job or not.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, you had mentioned the other day, Scott, when you were talking about getting the age of the equipment from the plumbers for the cherry picking book.
Yeah.
That you had mentioned that they just estimate it. Is there any guidance that you're giving them to make that estimation? No,
here's the thing. Most of them will look at it and give you an idea or get you the age. When you ask them, you just want an idea of it. But when you try to get them to take a picture and all this crap, that's when they either say they want money to do it, and you're going to see my history shows me our results. The more detail or harder I make it on them, the worse results I get. So I just tell them, I said, look, guys, just give me your opinion. Surely you can look at it and tell if it's old. I want to know if it's more than 10 years old or not. And so if you think it's more than 10 years old, just give me your opinion. And then when you start to monitor that, with the dispatch, again, on that percentage, I mean, if we go and we close out 30 calls yesterday and they found 1, they're not doing a good job. If you went to 30 calls yesterday and they found 29, they're not doing a good job. It could go either way, that they get lazy and just start lying. But if those numbers are off, then the service manager then breaks it down and says, who's not finding or getting near that? And then after a period of, let's say, because the plumbers, they're a call business, meaning they're going to create their behaviors by the call. So realistically, they should master that process within close to a week, because they're going to be through 15 to 20 calls in a week. But if you just ask them to do it and check up on them 3 weeks later, they ain't going to do it. It ain't going to happen.
Scott, I have a book of all old furnaces from the heat exchanger class. Would you recommend I make slides and then they could show the plumbers, this is what an older furnace looks like, and just hit it quick so that when they look at it, they'll know it's older? Or is that giving them too much information?
Let's just try to do it easy first, because again, the more detail we make it, they'll actually want money, and I don't want to give any money. And you don't want them trying to set the lead, because they set the lead, you'll get inconsistent results. I'm going to give, so to your point, I'm going to give you scripts. One of the scripts I wrote is, all right, so let me ask you this, Dick. If you needed 10 more calls tomorrow, would you run 10 calls if they were all 20-year-old systems, even if you had to do a free tune-up on them? Would you run them?
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's the problem. If you try to give away a free tune-up, it has no value and nobody's going to take it. And so I realized that. And so one of the scripts, and you're going to love this script, is the initial. It's the one you need if you need one today, meaning I could call you or call my calls I ran yesterday or 2-3 days ago, and I give you this script. And it actually gives you a free tune-up, but it's in a way that the customers take it at a ridiculous rate, because they're not getting it. We're actually drawing winners, and they win it. And so basically it goes over that, hey, we have a drawing, and it explains. I'll just tell you the script real quick. You say, hey, Dick, this is Scott with Anderson's. How you doing? Great. Hey, the reason I'm calling, I'm doing a happy call. You had a plumber out 2 days ago, and I'm seeing how the visit went. Is that okay if I ask you a few common courtesy questions to see how that visit went? Yeah, that's fine. So you do a happy call, and at the end of the happy call, hey, Dick, I forgot. That's not even the main reason I called. The main reason I'm calling is when our plumbers go out to houses, we take those people's names and we enter them in a hat, and we draw for a winner. And Dick, would you believe you're the winner? And you say, well, what a win, what a win. Dick, it's not every day. Like my job, I never win anything. And what I really love about my job here at Anderson's is I get to call people like you and congratulate the winner. Congratulations. And you're now going, what the hell did I win? Oh, yeah, it's a $99 tune-up, right? And you want it absolutely free. When's the best day? I got availability today or tomorrow. And you'll see those customers will take those because they want it, versus if you tried to call in and give them a free one, they don't take it as much. Now that's one of the scripts, but I explain in that script I'm gonna send you. It says that person has to be warm and bubbly, and again, just if you notice, I didn't tell you what you won until I actually got excited about it and all that crap. So that's going to teach you how to get in those very rapidly, because they're going to call somebody, and they probably don't call you. They don't even know you're in the heating and air business. They're out there for plumbing.
Got it. Cool.
What other questions do we have, if anything? I know it's a lot of information.
Let's see. On the minimum call board, so let me see. You said this isn't temperature driven, yet you got temp on the minimum call board?
You don't have to have the temperature. Mine personally did not have temperature on it. Nexstar wants me to put temperature on that. So I will tell you,
okay.
I will tell you this, that temperature drives the opportunity percentage up, because we know the older ones break. So when I analyze why am I selling more in the summer, you might run more calls in the summer, you might not. I can tell you this, you run a lot more older calls, and that's why your sales go up. When you understand that, you now proactively put more older calls on the spring and the fall. We teach those people how to sell with urgency, and your sales go up those months as well. Way up.
Okay.
So you don't have to put the temperature on there. They just asked me to put it on there.
Okay, so the minimum goal that you have on here is representing the 33%. Is that correct?
That's correct, because you're in an area that's 34 already. To give an example, New Jersey is about 18%, which is terrible, because they had that big hurricane came through, Katrina, or what was it? Whatever it was, it wiped out the damn market. So even though they're only 18%, if I had a location there, my CSR manager cannot come in a day I got less than 33. This is how good you have to. To give an example, Waldrop rolled this out. They had a call center manager there. What's his name? He's now a comfort advisor. He was a great call center manager. I walked in and saw him go, hey, whoa. We need 5 more calls tomorrow, right? And he goes, and we need 5 more opportunities tomorrow. So he stopped all CSR, says, do not book 1 more call tomorrow unless it's an opportunity. Matter of fact, go ahead and call someone's opportunity, see if you can't pull them forward, And if you can't, let's get the cherry pick book. Let's start outbounding. And so that's where Tracy Robinson, one of the call center coaches, she says, Scott, I had a member call me and said that you told him not to book a 3-year-old no heat, that they were to run a 10-year-old tune-up first. And I said, yes, that's absolutely correct. She said, why would you tell him that? I said, I could run 100 3-year-old no heats, and I'm never going to sell a unit. So there's a fine mix of everything. So even luckily, y'all were in a market that it's already there organically. But even if you weren't, if I was having this call with somebody in New Jersey, I'm telling them they have to be 33%. That's where the math makes sense. That's where sales go through the roof. So yes, that's the minimum.
Okay.
Real quick before you end, you mentioned for the call center manager not to share that one video with the CSRs. I'm the dispatch manager, and I was wondering if I could share this maximum capacity video with the dispatchers to give them a heads up.
The one we're doing right now, or which one?
Yeah, I don't like. I found one on Nextstar.
As far as I'm concerned, you can share anything on the website with anybody you want. Just the one video I'm going to send out. It's me telling you that the true hurdles you're going to run across as CSRs, because when you start to hold them accountable, it's no different than, so like if in Successware, right, do we get to decide if it's an opportunity or not when we're losing a call? So if, as a CSR, if I'm losing a call, can I mark that was not an opportunity, and that does not go against my close rates, what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The problem with the problem with that is well, imagine this. You know, Dick, you're probably old enough, and I know some people, Jody, you're definitely old enough to recognize this. Is when bowling, like I used to go bowling, and we used to keep score on paper. Well, when we did that, I was a professional bowler. I was great. Well, when they came out with these machines that kept my score, holy crap! I went from 229 down to 169 average. You know, so my point is, in the CSR video you're going to watch, is when you start to hold people accountable, they're going to start doing what I did on paper. They're going to start cheating to make themselves look better. Because every hour
you're a great golfer too, aren't you?
Well, I actually suck at golf, and I hate it. If I played, I would be awesome. But no, I hate it. I suck. But when you start to hold them accountable every hour in the hour, they start to see what you're coming to expect, and they're going to start to lie to you. So in this video, I explained, here's the lies you're going to get. Here's when you're going to get them. Here's how you overcome them. And I've been asked not to do frontline calls with CSRs because I make them cry. That video might make them cry because I'm calling them liars. So yeah, please don't let them see that one.
Okay, cool. Now the Nextstar one on maximum capacity is plumbing, right?
Well, that's the video where I introduced it. Yeah, that's it. That's just plumbing only. Yes.
Okay.
That's just an introductory. What I did at Super Meeting. I was told to confuse people enough to get them to the website to make them want to do it, and hopefully I accomplished it.
Yeah, well, you did. Now, are you doing another one on HVAC?
I'm not, but I mean I could, but no, I'm not planning on it.
Okay. All right. I was just curious.
All right.
Okay, and I'll send you my Google thing so I can get the video.
Yeah, and I know time is up, but I want to ask you a question for tomorrow. So tomorrow we have, you said 22 techs, right? They're going to be on the call. So when we do this call, again, this is normally something I teach when I go to a shop. When I do a call, I normally take 2 hours to do this call. I only have y'all allotted for an hour. So I'm trying to think about the best way to do this. So Dick, has everybody watched John Conway's ABC video?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it has the text is what he's asking. No, the texts have not.
Okay, so that's not going to be good then, because what I'm trying to do is, because what I teach is like his video on steroids, right, with these enhancements. So if they don't know his video and they don't try that piece of it, or at least know it, I don't know if I just don't think I can do this in an hour, because there's so much good information that I have to go over. So has any of them seen it? I mean, at all? Are y'all using the ABC process at all right now?
Well, we're using we're using the ABC process, but we're using it. We're using the 4 options or 5 options, the options and finding sheets.
Okay, so the ABC is this option. John Conway's video, and he does such a great job of talking about it. That's why I like him to watch that like 10 times before I do this call. But ABC is this: A is what's wrong today, your immediate concerns. In his video, B is basically system enhancements, and then anything that could cause you a potential problem within the next year. And then C is an option to speak to the customer about, a new system or system update, I think he calls it in there. So I go through, exactly what B looks like and what it's going to take to drive those turnovers through the damn roof. But the issue is if they don't do that like that, I'm going to spend a lot more time going over what he does his video. So you're giving 5 options. You're like an A, B, C, D, F or something. Is that right?
Right. And the reason we did that, Scott, was because they wanted to be able to sell IAQ. So A was the band-aid,
Okay.
B was the whole
Well,
rejuvenation. So maybe we just understand.
well, let me
right
tell you,
then.
the biggest mistake you can ever make on a 10-year-old system is sell indoor air quality. Offer.
Right,
The
right.
biggest mistake. Because here's what happens. Now you imagine, I think I might have told you, but I set kiosk up in the middle of the mall and started talking to people and figuring out what the hell's going on. And, I wanted to know people, not our technicians. And your customer doesn't know if you sell an air cleaner or let's say a humidifier. They don't know that goes in the ductwork. They think it's part of the unit. And so the issue is when you're trying to talk to them about a turnover and you now talk to them about indoor air quality, they're going, what? This doesn't make sense. He's talking to me about a new system and now he wants me to put something in it that's going to get me. And so they'll get confused. They bottle up and they do nothing. And so this is why when we train this process, now John doesn't go through it in his video and because he's a process guy. I'm a process guy and a sales genius. There's a big difference in the way I'm going to show them how to present it. Right? So I don't know. That's why I thought that y'all were familiar with that. And it was just ABC. I mean, are they familiar with pillars of trust, empathy, expertise, expectations, and all that crap?
Oh, yeah. Yes, yes.
Okay. Are they familiar? Well, if they're familiar with that, I'll teach them how to do a small statement of that on this video, how to roll into the full, or do a full valuation of the entire system on every call.
Yes.
Have you ever found a crack? You ever found a crack heat exchanger in the middle of summer?
Yes.
Okay, so they are looking. So then I will tell them how it makes sense for the customer. I'm just walking around my office thinking out loud. So I will roll in from the empathy, expertise, expectations into how do they get to the ABC process. I will probably touch on 2 warranty calls, which will add 10 minutes, but it's very important. John does it in the video good, but if they haven't seen it, I need to address that so that they buy in. That will probably leave me. Do I have maybe well, let me look at my schedule, see if I even got it. Like right now, the only reason I'm able to talk to you longer because we rolled into my lunch and I don't have a call, and I'm probably screwing up Jody's schedule. But let me look real quick. Tomorrow I cannot roll over at all. So
it's at 7:00 in the morning, isn't it? Tomorrow?
Yeah, 7 your time, yes.
Yes.
9 mine, and I got a 10 at mine as well. So, all right, I'm just going to figure out how to make it in an hour because I do a whiff them at the end. What's in it for me? I like walking them through what the top guys do, and I don't see me getting it done in an hour, but we're just going to have to.
Well,
I don't want to.
Scott.
Yes.
We have Keith come out every January or February and do the whole service system.
Yeah.
And walk through the whole thing so they're exposed that way.
Yeah. Here's what I just don't want to leave. Like I'm working with Keith and Dan now on adding what I'm about to go over tomorrow to his presentation because it's like what he does, but it's going to be on steroids. I mean, it's going to really, there's a great piece that you're going to really just go, holy crap, this is amazing. But I'm just going to work through it. We'll get through it, and then if we're a little confused, then maybe I send you videos with other people, and y'all, I don't know, we'll be good. I wish they had seen John Conway's video 10 times before this call. It would save a lot of time. But
okay, well, we could
Would
what
it
we
be worth?
could do
Would it be worth?
send it out.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
could send
Yeah,
out
I'm
a
asking.
link
Would it be
to it.
worth?
Just have a second to it.
Mary Jean, what were you saying?
I'm sorry.
How long is the John's first video, and would it be worth having them come in 15 minutes early to watch it before our meeting starts?
They could, but it's about a 45-minute video. So is it possible that they watch it at night? Is it possible? I mean, sure it is, but it's better if they've watched it and they've lived it a little bit, because then I'm going to tell them, here's the changes to it. I mean, if as long as they're presenting options, I hate that we're doing 5 on 10-year-olds. I like it on less than 10-year-olds. So I'm gonna go over the do's and don'ts, and then y'all just have to say, all right, here's what we change, here's what we do, and I'm just gonna make a note. My number one objective is they don't leave confused, because then again, you just heard me say, confused people do nothing, and I don't want that to happen. Okay. So I would just keep that right in front of me on a Post-it note, just to slow down. And because if you see, I mean, I'm trying to feed you a freaking meal in an hour, and it's just hard to do. And tomorrow I'm going to try to feed them, 10 meals, and have them cook it all within an hour. But we'll work through it.
Scott, in your opinion, is it better for us to delay your call one day or next week, so that way we're prepared? Because I don't want them to waste this information.
If I was working after tomorrow, yes. After tomorrow, I'm done for the year, and then I'm going.
As am I.
And then I'm going on the road every 2 weeks, which sucks, through July. Every other week through July to go to people's shops just like y'all.
So this is the best opportunity, is what you're saying.
It is our only opportunity, or it would have to be the first week of the year, which right now, I mean, I don't know. We'll take it tomorrow. If I actually can't get through the option page, like if I'm 30 minutes in and I think I need 45 minutes to get through it, I'm not going to go through it. And we might just have to reschedule one last call, because I really can't have them hang up and they go, what the hell did we just listen to? I don't want that, because then we just defeated every damn thing. So I'm gonna have a note, and if I can't get through what I need to, then we'll have to rebook a call after this first year. And then in the meantime, yeah, you better watch that damn video 10 times before that call.
Got it.
All right, well, I got to get off here because I got to take a lunch and then get on my next one. So.
Okay. Hey, thanks,
Thank you so much, Scott.
All right, thank you very much. Y'all have a good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right,
okay.
bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.